morning and many blessings. My name is Rabbi Danyiel, and I take scriptures and then I talk about what's happening in the world today. I like to start off with a scripture. Before I do, I like to say for everybody listening, I hope you're blessed today, and I hope you have a blessed day and a wonderful day. Also, if you would like to, go ahead before we start, hit the like button, subscribe button, pass it on to a friend. If you find information valuable or information helpful. Okay, so today we're going to be in Genesis, and it's going to be Genesis 13.2. And Genesis 13.2 says, Now Abram, that was Abraham before he had his name changed to Abraham. Now Abram was very laden with livestock, silver and gold. Another interpretation is for laden there is rich. So jump real quick into the Hebrew. And what does it say? This is Avram kaved mo'od b'mikneh b'kesef v'zahav. So he was very heavy with this. I mean, he basically was rich. I mean, he had so much stuff that they just weighed him down as he moved. Everything he had to move. Okay. So now, why do I bring this up today? Why are we in this portion today? Well, wealth is not a bad thing. We're taught that money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of evil. Money is a tool. And in fact, that saying actually correctly said is the love of money is the root of all evil. So if you put money before God, and you put money before Torah, and you put money before your family, and you put money, it's in its wrong place, then it becomes idolatrous, and that is when it becomes evil. But besides that, it's nothing more than a tool. Basically it's a bartering tool that became a form of currency. Okay, now, so there's nothing wrong with accumulating it as long as you do it with honest means, as long as you do it with honest intent. The scripture talks about weights and measures, and how it's an abomination to cheat on your weights and measures. So it's very important that you gain your physical riches. And I want to say physical riches because there's also spiritual riches. There's also social riches. Riches can be defined in many different ways. Blessings and riches are very similar depending on how you define that. So if a person has 5 or 6 kids, then he is blessed. He is rich. He is rich with the love of a family. He is rich with so many different things. So, we, even in the English language, we say rich, right? Like a good, nice chocolate cake can be, we call it a rich cake because the flavor is so intense in it, right? So this is rich. It means heavy, right? So here, Abraham is loaded down, he's burdened. But what's his purpose here? Why is he loaded? Well, if you study a lot about Abraham, then you study about the scripture, Abraham was extremely generous. He was always inviting people to eat at his table. He was, the sayings go that he was always inviting people to eat at a table. And somebody that's very rich in this manner, somebody that is just constantly opening his table and inviting people to sit at his table, and he's feeding them. Well, he's going to need food. He's going to need livestock. He's going to need animals. He's going to need wealth in those days. And today, the same. You need wealth to be able to feed people all the time. And if you have a heart after like Abraham, then you're feeding people. Now, here's the beauty. God refers to Abraham as his friend. Not a lot of other places talk about God's relationship with man. But when it comes to Abraham, it says his friend. And that is wonderful. So what do we have to do to be like Abraham? Well, we got to remember to give charitably, and we got to love each other, and we got to take care of each other. So it's not a bad thing to have wealth and to have riches, to be able to take care of people. The bad thing comes in when all your hard-earned wealth and riches that you're supposed to use to help those around you, to help your family members, to help your loved ones, to help your friends, to make new friends, to when you see a person and you're walking down the street, to bless them and give them hope, is stolen away through government. Government makes all these promises that they're going to give these things to people. And a lot of time the money that they confiscate in order to give this wealth redistribution doesn't really go to the people that need it. It's better, it goes through all these different sources and chains and these people, and it enriches. It's a way, it's a scheme to enrich certain politicians and stuff, and we should be weary of that. We should be as free from the government as possible so we can be stronger in our families and our family life and our family communities and those around us. And if you build up everything around you, instead of sending it to a government thousands of miles away for them to redistribute to other people hundreds of miles or thousands of miles away from them, you're not helping your own society. You're not helping your own community. You're not helping those people around you. You need to focus locally, and that goes for everything. And even when you get into politics, you need to focus locally on politics. People always focus, they always come out big for presidential elections, but what about those local elections? Because usually what allows people to run on the higher levels, they're running on the lower levels first, and you can stop their tyrannical policies if you're active on the lower level. So everybody should be active politically. Remember that God's in control of it all, of course. In Haggai, it says that all the gold and all the silver is God's, meaning that God has all the wealth. In Genesis 1:1, they say that God creates everything. Well, since he created everything, everything is his. We acknowledge this. Gold and silver are only a tool. It's a hedge in modern time. It's, we have fiat currency, everything's in a fiat currency. So what happens is with gold and with silver, you're going to see the markets going crazy right now. Bitcoin markets, regular market, stock market, and you're also going to see it in the gold and silver, because although the news media wants to make it sound like Joe Biden won the election and everything's over, the electors don't go to the Electoral College until December 14th, and there have been nothing but lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit and challenge after challenge in 6 states. Right now, actually, Donald Trump has 232 and Joe Biden has like 212 or something like that, I think. So right now, Donald Trump is ahead. He gets Pennsylvania, that's 252. And then he gets one more of those 6, and it's a dead heat tie. And then, he gets 3 of those 6, and then it's flipped and he's got it anyways. So I don't want to focus too much on the election. I want to focus on what's happening in the markets. But the markets are going crazy because, so if the markets perceive, if people out there perceive that Joe Biden is going to win, the Bitcoin market, the cryptocurrency markets are going to go crazy upward. And they are going crazy upwards right now because the media is putting out that Joe Biden won. So the cryptocurrency market is going crazy, and it is through the roof right now. It's only going to go up as long as this perception is there. Not to say that crypto is a bad investment. Crypto has its purpose, and the purpose, it was designed because of the fiat currencies of governments. This globalist one world government fiat currency type of global reset, financial reset that the globalists are rushing towards, is a way for them to get out of their financial bubbles that they created and stick everybody else with issues and problems. And so this happened, with the housing bubble back in around 2008, 2009, and that's when crypto came on the scene, because crypto is not connected to the central banks. And because crypto is not connected to the central bank, it becomes the people's money. So we have the fiat currencies, which are nations' money, backed by a military, backed by a force, backed by politics, okay, backed by promises. And then you have, and that's centralized, and then you have decentralized money, which is the Bitcoin. And that's individuals going on and using the blockchain to verify stuff, and it's decentralized. So it doesn't have those national or global influences on the money. Now, if people believe that Joe Biden won, and with that, they think he's a globalist and a socialist, which is what he's turning out to be and what he's surrounding himself with, then those Bitcoin market's going to go up crazy over the next couple of years, because that global reset also wants a digital currency for that global reset. And so then the Bitcoin works on 2 levels there. Those that need protection away from the government, and then a form of government to impose digital currency on people instead of the printed press currency, fiat currency that they have. Now, if Donald Trump succeeds in his lawsuits and stays president, then what's going to happen is you're going to see the regular stock markets go up, because the regular stock markets, with the exception of a few globalist companies wrapped up in the stock market, like these high-tech, Apple and Google and Facebook and these other stuff. Besides them, the rest of the market is going to go up. It's going to go up because people like the idea of having this national perspective, America first idea, to where we take care of ourselves locally, that we expend our charity outward as what we have left over. Going back to what I'm saying, more locally, local community, local neighborhood and city, work on that, and then whatever's left, and then extend it out on a higher level. So that's what you have. So you have basically 3 types of money. And Robert Kiyosaki said this, and so I give him some credit for letting me know about this. But there's basically God's money, which is gold and silver, as we see in the scripture. In Haggai, God says, I believe it's 2:8. Don't quote me on that. But it's in Haggai. Haggai is a very small couple chapters. You can find it very easily. But Haggai says, in the book of Haggai, God says, all the gold, silver. He says he's going to shake up the world. He's going to shake up the nations. He's going to rebuild the temple, and all that gold and silver are going to flow back to God. Gold and silver is God's money. It was here during creation, as we see in Genesis, and then it will be here after we're dead. Gold and silver is tangible. It goes through the fire, and it's like one of the few things that can survive going through a fire. It's purged, it's cleansed, it's cleaned. Gold and silver are valuable. So all these other fiat currencies in the world and all these other nations will topple. They will come, they will go. Regimes, empires. We see the history, the scope of history, and how this goes. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. Okay, gold and silver remains. So it is a massive hedge. And right now, certain people are flocking to gold and silver because they don't know what's going to happen. It's uncertain whether this guy gets in office or that guy gets in office, or whether what these nations do, disease, whatever. Okay, so the gold and silver are hedges, and most people would buy them as hedges. But gold and silver are very valuable. And if Donald Trump wins, the theory or the idea that a lot of people think is that he will put the United States back on the gold standard. Now, if he puts the United States back on the gold standard, that's valuable. That's very valuable. So people are going to want gold and silver and precious metals. So you got 3 options there to invest. These are all hedges, basically. You can put some money in your traditional 401k, the stock markets, and watch it go up and down. I think this tends to be the most uneducated way to put your money. You can put your money in on yourself, because you are your greatest asset, and you can do that through whole life insurance. Learning how to use cash value and whole life insurance for yourself. And I put my money on myself. I am my greatest asset because of my mind, because I'm the one that makes money. Everybody's always focusing on what can this market bring me? Well, it's only going to bring you 5%, 10%, 12%, whatever. But you yourself, when you go out and you work, you're bringing yourself 100% or more. You're getting creating passive incomes to roll into yourself. Well, that's a lot better than being than letting it go with somebody else managing everything, because you are your greatest asset. Okay, so you got the financial markets, the regular financial stock market, etc. You got insurance, that's a hedge on yourself, and then you've got cryptos, which are a hedge against governments, because it's decentralized and you don't know where the governments are going to take this. If you got a socialist government, then decentralized sounds good, so that sounds good. And then the last one is the most important, because scripture basically says it's the most important, and that's gold and silver. And A person that has gold and silver laid aside can weather a storm when it gets really bad. And if you can't get into gold, it's okay. You don't have to get into gold. Silver is referred to as the poor man's gold. And, you can buy small little silver coins. Every paycheck you get, put aside, buy a small little. And I would say, these EFTs and all these other things, which are like gold and IRA, gold and precious metals and IRA accounts, they're the same as the markets. Honestly, it's not tangible. It's not in your hand. They're like commodity markets. Unless you own the gold mining process, don't even get involved in those things, because that's paper. That's paper. Whereas physical, tangible gold, having a coin, a gold coin or a silver coin, collect your coins, and then they're also movable, because you can take a silver coin in your hand and then you can exchange it rather easy. Now, gold coin, no, because it's like, it's a couple $1,000s for a gold, for some of this gold. So it's kind of expensive. You can't just move the gold around. But you take your silver and you get, silver for, a relatively cheap price. And, most people can afford to buy a piece of silver every payday. Buy a piece of silver every payday. Before you know it, you'll have a whole stack, and then you can trade them in, and then you can get your gold. You start having your gold stack that way. But it's a hedge. But first and foremost, no matter what currency you use, no matter what form of money you use, no matter what form of bartering you use, everything's in God's hands. So trust God, and we use our wealth, we obtain our wealth honestly, and we share charitably with everybody around us. And that's blessing. That's blessing. So I pray that everybody's blessed today. I pray you have a blessed day. You have a good day. Be blessed, and go out and bless other people. Thank you. Hit like and subscribe and share if you could.